Well, since today seems like it's going to be a rainy day outside, I guess I'll stay in and work in the radio shop. That's good though. I fell behind on a lot of my projects, and there's certain other things that's been going on that's kept me out of the shop for several weeks. And there's plenty to do there. What I wanted to show you this morning, this is the Farm Collector magazine. My father gets these and passes them along to me when he's done. And this particular one is May of 2013. The article I'm going to show you, I'll let you know, this is volume 15, issue 10. And there's an article in here about a guy who had a Zenith radio that belonged to his family back in the 1920s, and he had the set for a number of years, and it sat around, and finally it quit working. And actually, I shouldn't say it sat around. I think they used it almost on a daily basis up to the point where it had quit again and needed some tubes and service. So this fella had took it to a service repair shop. This is a 1929 Zenith. Took it to a radio repair shop. Never heard nothing back out of the guy for a few months, and finally went to go track him down and stuff. And his radio had burned up in the shop. The shop had caught fire, burnt down, and the guy was heartbroken. He thought everything was gone. He got to digging around. There's a piece of tin on the floor he moved, and lo and behold, here's his poor radio after the fire. And here's what it looked like, I believe, after they got it restored. Very, very striking radio. It's very nice. The only thing left on it was the one wooden knob right here. The cabinet, the collar on the cabinet became white. It just took all the darkness out of the wood, burn it. The chassis was okay though. They were able to fix it and restore it for the fella, and to this day it still plays in his in his house. It says by 1991 the Zenith had returned to daily service. Today, almost a century after its manufacture, the old Zenith provides a mellow sound in our home. So they had it all fixed back up, and it was badly water damaged. He said they had to really do a lot of work on it cabinet-wise, but it was completely rebuilt internally. And he had some other neat stuff that was included with this article too. This is a wind charger, like an air vane, an air propeller, airfoil propeller they called it. You put outside your house. This turned and produced 32 volts at 650 watts of power that you could run your radios and other electronics and supplies and power supplies and stuff like that on. And here's a ad for another radio here in the 1920s. This would have been cash price of $99.95, and you could pay payments, and with tax and everything it was $112.95. Boy, the times have changed there, haven't they? Here's a Zenith model 4B231 from somewhere between 1936 and 1938. Now this radio belonged to my wife's grandfather, and this radio will probably not be restored anytime soon, and I mean several years isn't soon, because she wants it left just as she remembers it as a child, sitting up on the shelf at Grandpa's house out at the farm. The cabinet overall is in rather nice condition. There's a few finish issues, but everything's still intact. Grill cloth's very nice. A little dark in the middle, but all original. The dial scale, nothing's turned yellow. This is plastic, nothing's turned yellow. Everything still works. It's your power volume knob. We've had this radio probably since about 2005. And I never really paid much attention to it. It's set up on top of our TV stand in the living room for many years. And when I got into vintage radios and stuff, this was the first one I come looking for. My wife says, no way in hell this is going to happen. So I left it alone, and then later she told me her reasoning why she wanted it left alone. And I respect that. There's nothing wrong. For now, it's safe. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's just sitting in there on the TV stand. We have a Zenith 15 ohm speaker up inside of here. And unlike some of the Philcos and other sets, this one is able to be unplugged. from the chassis. This does run on 6 volts, and my mother-in-law said she can remember this out at the farm running on 32 volt Delco systems. They had a way to step that 32 volt down to 6 volts for this radio, and they ran it from the glass battery, the jar batteries and stuff out there at the farm, until they had power come their way in about 1941. It's rather neat story behind it. This radio is all original. It's missing one tube back in the back. You probably can't see. You can see you can see the grid cap poking up there. Hang on just a minute. Get a flashlight and give you a better look inside. That camera don't like darkness very well. It's rather fidgety. Right back there is what I'm talking about, seeing that grid cap. But what we have in here, let me turn my schematic around so I can kind of show you what we have. This is our 6 volt input, positive, negative. This is our vibrator. In front of that is a transformer, probably a power transformer. Here's our filter capacitors. And I'm assuming these are probably different stages of IF right in here, because it's stamped 456 KC, 456 KC, and I'm not sure exactly what that one says up in there. Something different. It doesn't say 456. I think it's stamped 5215. I don't know exactly what that means. There's our speaker. Now, the complements of tubes that this thing uses is a let me see if I can find my schematic. Turn it around here again so I can read it. Is a 6S7G, a number 38, a GT7-G, and this one back here in the corner that's missing should be a 6D8G. That's about a $9 tube. I priced it online. Most common one in this radio is the number 38 and the 6S7G. So I was curious to know if this would play. You know, I had never wired it up. I don't intend to wire it up. It's all original. I've never pulled the chassis out and looked at it. You can see the little mounts that the chassis floats on down here at the base. They're probably rock hard by now. All the tube shields except for one back here in the back is missing. So I just thought I wanted to share this radio with anybody that is interested in old radio sets for quite some time. It's a very striking radio, and hopefully one of these days it will be able to play again. And schematics are available. nostalgiaair.org. For anybody looking for schematics of old radios and whatnot. And it doesn't always give you an accurate date. Like it says pre-October 1937. Don't trust the dates. They're not always accurate. Some are close, but not every one of them spot on. And here's one of the reasons why I haven't been in the radio shop for a while. We've been working on this room off and on since the time we moved in. It's been about 6 years now, just doing a little bit here and there, and painting and cleaning, and this room just ain't big enough to get a good shot. We built us a closet in here. I live in a 1870s two-story brick that didn't really need a lot of heavy restoration when we moved in. It was just a lot of TLC maintenance issues more than anything else. Things that had been neglected over the years and whatnot that just needed taken care of. And we're slowly getting her back in shape. We got the whole house tuck pointed about 2-3 years ago. And the kitchen floor had been redone. Both of them projects set us back about $16,000. But in the long run, it's well worth it. The house will last a lot longer. The tuck pointing was done. It was sealed. Now when it rains outside, the water beads up like turtle wax on a vehicle. So that in itself is well worth it, because we had a lot of moisture issues around the top of the ceilings, both upstairs and downstairs, because the brick is very soft and porous in this house. And I'm slowly going through redoing the windows that belong in this room. They should look like that one there if you can see it with the light. There's an upper and lower sash, 4/4 glass, single pane. It's a tedious job, but it's, again, well worth it. These windows will last us for quite some time if they're taken care of. We went all the way through the downstairs about 3 years ago and did all of them over again. And one of these days I'd like to get rid of all of them and find something that closely matches this in a insulated vinyl frame, and it would really cut down on our heat loss and cooling in the summertime. I had to go completely through this room, put all new baseboards in. What's native to this house was oak for floor, oak for baseboard, poplar for window casings, and for up in here around the top of the head case and the door they used walnut. And the side jambs were, again, oak. All the doors are oak. Had to make new plinth blocks for the bottom because those had been removed and discarded. Kind of a challenge making the closet fit in here, but we got it. As you can see, the blue was the original color in this room. It was called a, what did they call that? It was like a milk paint. But it had a different name. It was something that was very popular back in the 50s, and it was pigmented paint. You basically mixed it up and you just put whatever color you wanted in there, like chalk, and stirred it up and painted it on the wall. And over time you ran your fingers over the wall, it just come back off like chalk. So we had to go through, wash the walls down, and use a conditioner on the walls. And then we're just going to go back with a high quality Sherwin-Williams paint. We've got a Prep Pro Block is what it's called. It's a sealer that'll seal the walls, and then you can put your finished coat on it. Ceilings upstairs. This roof lost its, or this, let me say, try that again. This house lost its roof back in 2001, I believe it was. And the original ceilings upstairs here was 10-foot ceilings. I think they're just a little over 10 foot, closer to 11 I think is what they were, and they were lowered some. Now they're 9'6". Downstairs they're 11'2". Straight line winds took the roof off this house in 2001, 80-mile-an-hour straight line winds. So the whole top of the house, trusses and whatnot, had to be reconstructed. And all new roofing was put on, things like that. So basically the upstairs has been completely rewired, restored, and brought back. Got some nice views from up here. And lastly, to end this video, here coming up before long, I'll be working on my Superior tube tester I just bought about a month or two ago because it's quit working on me. And it's something simple I found. It's in this primary high-low switch that it's not making connection. You set it where you want it and you push down that switch a little bit, everything pops right back to life. So it might need cleaned or it might just need replaced. I'm not sure. The power switch still works okay. Quality leakage switch works, and the filament high-low switch works. It's just this primary high-low transformer switch. And what that does, you set this all the way over to line adjust, and it'll show your line voltage coming in, and you can adjust it where you want it, high or low. Simple fix, easy fix. Just needs a little TLC. For Christ's sake, this thing's from 1946. Cut it a break. So for now, guys, that's it from the basement shop, and there'll be more to come later.